Hello, this is Stu Bottorf from the Tampa Bay Computer Society in Clearwater, Florida. My topic today is secrets of making Chrome a solid computer. What I do at the Tampa Bay Computer Society is moderate two special interest groups. One is on free and open source software, and the other is on Linux. So I am the non-traditional person, seldom using Windows, but I made a career out of managing Windows networks before retirement. Chromebooks, they're a new feature in the computer world. There's so much confusion, though, and misinformation about what a Chromebook actually is and what it does. Some people want to compare Chromebooks unfavorably to the latest Windows 8.1 enabled high-spec laptops or to an elegant MacBook Pro. But keep in mind, some users look at cost. And Amazon's 3 best-selling computers this past Christmas were not Windows laptops, but Chromebooks. November 2014 data also reported a 67% sales increase in Chromebooks, due mainly from the educational field. Can Chromebooks be made to do things online and offline? We are aware there's many cloud-based services out there today. Could it be that the computer world is moving more towards cloud-based services than using programs on computers like we did traditionally? Has the status quo started to change? We see shades of this with the Office 365, Adobe's Creative Studio, online version of QuickBooks, and the lightweight Peppermint Linux distribution. There are several new Chromebooks being released. New ones come out often. They're very thin, they're very mobile, and they're much less expensive than a traditional laptop computer. Before I go on, let me explain 2 things. Today I'm talking about a Chromebook, but a Chromebook also includes Chromeboxes and a Chromebase unit. A Chromebox is a Chromebook computer without the screen, keyboard, and etc. It comes in a box as shown here on the left, and you plug in your mouse, your keyboard, and your monitor, and you're ready to go. It's already set up wireless, and you just have like a laptop power supply that plugs into the box. I've noticed these in kiosks, and I saw one place where one was Velcroed to the back of a computer monitor, and the whole computer just sits in the back. There is no fan in it, and they're quite efficient. They tend to be a little less money than the Chromebook. There's also a unit called a Chromebase, which just came out, and the Chromebase unit has a computer built in to the monitor. And so you just plug one plug into the wall, and you have put in your keyboard and mouse, and you're ready to go. So that's a Chromebase computer. But today I'm going to use the term Chromebook to satisfy all 3. Let's examine the Chromebook. Chromebooks are a Google invention secretly embedding the Linux operating system. Remember, Google previously released the Android operating system for tablets and smartphones, also using an embedded Linux kernel. But nowhere in the official Google Chromebook or Android sites will you find the word Linux. Google first released Chromebooks in July of 2011. Today, Acer, Samsung, Lenovo, HP, Google, Toshiba, Dell, LG, and ASUS all produce and sell Chromebooks with various features and pricing. Generally, Chromebooks are less expensive than traditional laptop computers. They have limited or no internal drive space, offer better security and longer battery life, and Chromebooks never require antivirus or backup software. Microsoft countered the Chromebook by releasing a group of squiggled ads which indicated Chromebooks were inferior compared to real Windows computers. The oft-repeated fallacy that without the cloud a Chromebook is worthless is inherently untrue. Chromebooks do excel in the online environment, but Google Drive, Google Calendar, Gmail, and several other apps can be productive locally even when disconnected from the cloud. The fact is, this fact is the basis of my upcoming secret. The Google Internet browser called Chrome is lightning fast, and the integration between Google web apps is clean and efficient. The laptop feels responsive and apps open instantly, especially when compared with the sometimes slow speeds experienced on Windows machines when dealing with large files or with large applications and limited hardware. The stateless design of the OS carries two major advantages. First, these machines are almost immune to viruses. In the worst case, they can be painlessly formatted and resynced without data loss. Secondly, OS updates are delivered seamlessly with minimal user involvement. The only on-screen notification you receive is a small pop-up at the bottom right-hand corner, sometimes prompting you to reboot your machine. With highly affordable prices, boot speeds under 5 seconds, extended battery life, and an intuitive gesture-enabled trackpad, the Chromebook is perfect for using as a secondary machine for power users or as a primary machine for users who simply don't want the complexity of Windows and Apple products. It's clear that a browser-only life is not for everyone, but let's look at these features. Well, there are some here. Stateless operating system, purchase cost, the boot speed, the extended battery life, and it puts the Chromebook as a natural successor to the older nettop, cheaper type laptop computers. The aim of these 7 secrets is to allow the Chromebook to save data locally, even when there is no cloud connection, then resyncing with the cloud and other devices when connections are restored. I did a 4-week session, 2 hours a week, on Chromebooks a couple years ago. We purposely disconnected the Chromebook from the network, from the wireless network, and we made changes to documents, we made changes to calendars, we made sent email that stayed locally on the machine. When we reconnected the network, we were all amazed watching the resync process take place. It actually did take place in seconds after the networks were reconnected. So, to get on with the first secret is Google Drive. Chromebook users receive 15 gigabytes of Google Drive free storage space. That's huge. Remember, all file types may be securely stored on Google Drive, not just Google readable files. And this means you can put videos, audio, you can put anything you want in your 15 gigabytes of space. The Google operating system is an app platform, complete with Chrome App Launcher. Google wants you to replace Windows, Mac, and Linux applications or programs with Chrome apps in the future. Chrome apps run in their own browser windows and are isolated locally. These apps come from the Chrome Web Store and consist of JavaScript, HTML, or other web technologies in downloadable packages. Apps run entirely offline in the Chrome browser. By default, they attempt to synchronize with the internet. The Gmail offline app automatically syncs new mail in the background. You may read and compose emails offline, and the app seamlessly sends them when reconnected. Note that the Gmail offline app is separate from the standard Gmail app and has a slightly different interface. In the same way, Google Calendar app also enables offline support. Once synced, you may view your present calendar offline and edit new events. This too syncs later when you are online.
Oh, okay.
Secret 4.
Okay.
Google Drive.
Yeah, that's
Install
all I
the
need is
Google
more
Drive app.
watching.
Click the More option on the left side of the Google Drive website and click Offline. Follow the instructions to set up the offline access, which then allows you to view and edit and create documents while offline. Now learn Google Drive. You'll find it's powerful and it clones most Microsoft applications accurately, translating between MS Office, LibreOffice, and Google formats. I personally like the Google Drive apps and lately have been defaulting to using them over Microsoft or LibreOffice. This Chromebook presentation was built exclusively using Google Drive. The next secret is printing. Set up the Google Cloud Print and learn how to use it. This requires a minimal base computer and printer with Google Chrome installed as its browser. Now your Chromebook can print from the cloud anywhere. Dropbox and Netflix work perfectly on Chromebooks. You'll find plenty of other apps at the Google Chrome store. The keyboard on the Chromebook has a special row at the top. If you look at the top row, you'll see a lot of hieroglyphic symbols, and they mean different things. This way you can adjust the sound, volume up or down. You can redo pages. You can move back and forth. You can do plenty of things. You can even take screenshots with the Chromebook. You've got to learn the secrets to the Chromebook keyboard shortcuts. And each Chromebook has a slightly different group of keys at the top. But remember, you can do all the same things you can do on Windows. You can do mostly from the Chromebook. There's one last thing. There's more you can do with a Chromebook if you're really technically inclined. I tried this once and it does work. There is a terminal. It's called a Crosh terminal, C-R-O-S-H. And you can get to the Crosh terminal by using certain keystrokes. Once you're inside, you can do extra things that we used to do in my Windows Server days of helping to set up networks. But from the Crosh shell, it's possible to install a script called Crouton, C-R-U-T-O-N. And with Crouton, you can actually install a full-bore Linux operating system on your Chromebook and switch back and forth between Chrome and the full Linux system while powered. And you can go back and forth between the two systems. It actually does work. Unfortunately, it complicates a simple Chromebook environment, and I went back to using my Chrome OS exclusively. My links show Crouton resources, but use care if you try to do this to build a recovery image just in case something goes wrong. In my class, I had one person who thought they could do this without building the image, and they could not get their Chromebook to work after they tried this. Finally, they got the Chromebook working again, but it was a panic time for them before they got it fixed. I personally bought a factory refurbished Acer Chromebook for $129 online almost 2 years ago. I paid no shipping and $10 sales tax, so my total outlay was $140. Luckily, this unit came with a large hard drive, so I'm able to store lots of data internally. I regularly use this Chromebook for presentations using the high-quality HDMI output into projectors or large-screen television. It boots very fast, and it works well. If I travel, I bring the Chromebook as it's small, light, and does everything I need. My lone Chromebook negative is its severely limited Java support. This leaves no way to share the Chromebook screen with another user using tools like VNC or TeamViewer, which means you can't assist another Chromebook user online with a problem in real time. The best you can do is have the person take screenshots and send them to you. Google understands this, and they've addressed the issue, saying it will be fixed. But that's the same thing they said 2 years ago. It doesn't appear to be getting fixed very rapidly. Recent 2015 hardware developments. I thought you might be interested in these things. New Chromebooks keep coming. And just last week, one of my SIG members found this ad on eBay for a Samsung Chromebook, much nicer than mine, and it's the same price I paid for mine, $129.99. Now this is a factory refurb, just like the one I got, and it's from eBay. I don't know if you pay shipping on this or not, but it still is a great deal. My daughter bought 2 of these for 2 of our grandkids, and the kids have used them for over a year and they still work. So there are deals out there. I don't think you find them every day, but $129 is a good deal. These normally sell for $249. This is a new Acer Chromebook. It's got a 15-inch screen. It's advertised as the largest screen on any Chromebook, and it sells for $249 and up. I don't know what the "and up" means, but you can see you have your display, and the only thing needed is a mouse, or learn to use the gesture trackpad. I found this too. This last Christmas, Windows tried to counter Chromebooks, not very successfully. They came out with, they had HP make a unit that they called the HP Stream 11, and they put Windows 8.1 on it. The advertised price that they were going to sell for was $199.99. If you do Google searches, you don't find them at that price. You find them at prices higher than that, more like $250. In my link notes that you can download later on, you can read a review or see a review from the Wall Street Journal where they compared a Chromebook to the Stream 11 and found the Stream 11 was extremely slow compared to the Chromebook. And that was because the machine tried to run Windows 8.1 in 2 gigs of RAM. It's painfully slow. So that is another development. Here's a third one. And this one I kind of like. Acer has put out what they call a smart display. It's not Chrome, it's Android. But it would seem to fill the same need as a Chromebook. It comes with a wireless keyboard, a wireless mouse, and you just plug the display into the wall. The computer is built into the display, and it's got a touch screen, and it's big. It's 22 inches from end to end. You could use 2 hands to navigate this thing with the gesture controls. And these, I saw one advertised for $199, but they tend to be more in the $250 range. I haven't ever saw one physically at the store. ViewSonic has come out with something quite similar. It's a 24-inch, it's a little bigger, and it's $350. And the same kind of device. It's got Android as an operating system, and it's there. I've got lots of links. I have 2 pages of links. There is some are better than others, and there's one link that has the difference in Chromebook specs and performances that was done by a fellow who looked me up from Ireland by the name of Stephen Gallagher, and I'd definitely look at it if you was in the market for a Chromebook and trying to figure out which Chromebook you wanted to buy. And there are other links here that are interesting. And the Crouton has a new method of doing things. I might be prompted to try to go back and look at that. I don't know that I have much more of this presentation, but I was looking to see if anybody had any questions that I could answer online. Are you there, Bill?
David's here.
Oh, David, I'm sorry. Could
Okay, we do make sure you type your questions in the chat box. We do have a question. They want to know what size screens the Chromebooks come in.
Mine is like 12-inch. I know they come about that size on up. So it's about 12 inches would be the minimum, maybe 10. The RAM, we seem to be at the 1 and mostly the 2 gigabyte level, and you can add another stick in most computers, but I have not opened mine up and done that. I saw somebody say that you couldn't create a presentation in Google Drive. Yes, you can. And this presentation here today was all produced in Google Drive. And the way we had to do it for the show, Adobe Connect requires a PPTX file to use for the presentation. And what we did is I downloaded from Google Drive. It will download and convert to a PPTX, and I just went through and made sure everything was okay in LibreOffice, and I sent it along to APCUG. So it does do it. Can Hangouts be used in lieu of Team Viewer? I don't know. That's a good question. Can
you use Hangouts?
I don't know. I never tried it. Okay.
Okay.
So I can't. I wrote down the word. I'll look it up, but I don't know. If Chromebooks have no hard drive, they use mostly solid state RAM, and in the newer ones, they will allow you to plug in a micro SD card in there to increase the space. But I find that I can put everything in my Google Drive space. They give you 15 gigabytes, and I thought I had a lot out there, but I found I'm only using 1.8 gigabytes. So I've got tons of space to use, and there's already a lot in there.
Okay.
I was just trying to scroll back here to look at some of these chats, but they move pretty fast.
One is a question about connectivity. Is yours, I guess the computer, are they got a radio in them? You have to use a wireless company, or are these just all Wi-Fi?
These are Wi-Fi, and that mine has a network connector on them, an Ethernet connector also. I think there's some units that don't have the Ethernet plug on them. So, but they're all set up. They all work. The wireless works quite well, and it seems to be set up with the N networking, so it's set up for high speed.
Okay. And I guess one question about the RAM is, you found that the 2 gigabytes is sufficient?
Sufficient for the things I do on the Chromebook. If I was to try to install Linux again and try to run it, I guess I would like to try to increase the RAM. You know, that's an interesting question. It's one we're going to look at our open source SIG this week coming up, of putting RAM, adding RAM to a computer. It's something that we sometimes have to do to get a computer to do more things, but we don't essentially speed the computer up a whole bunch. All we can do is help swap the things in and out quicker, so that they don't have to be written to disk. They can be written to memory instead. You know, really, processors speeds keep increasing. If you use those rules of thumb, every 3 years, computer designs, they almost invariably need to be upgraded to newer hardware. We've been, in our Linux SIG, we've been trying to help XP users get into a form of Linux and get out of the non-supported XP world. And we found that sometimes even putting minimal programs on an old XP computer with like half a gig of memory in it, it is extremely slow. Adding another half a gig of memory, it speeds it a little, but it's still extremely slow. If the processor's slow, you can't do much. But I find that these new ARM processors they're using in Chromebooks tend to be faster, and they tend to tolerate the 2 gigabytes of RAM quite well. I'm lucky on mine. I've got an extra stick. One of the things you can do from a cross terminal when you get into it is you can bring up a list of what's the hardware on your Chromebook, and you can find out if it's got 1 slot or 2 slots for RAM, and how many of the slots are occupied. On mine, I've got 2 gigs and it's in 1 slot, so there's another slot that would be able to hold another 2 gig.
Okay, I got a question. Does Skype work?
I've heard people say it does. I haven't tried it. I'm not a Skyper, so I can't say for sure it works. There is a little camera on the thing, so it takes your picture at times. You can see if like for login, you can have it show your picture to log in. So that I would believe you could make Skype work, but I haven't tried it.
Okay. Does Silverlight work?
Pardon, I didn't hear you, Dave.
Silverlight? Or
Silverlight.
Is there a clone or anything?
I don't know, but now the only time I've ever needed Silverlight in the Linux world has been when I tried to run Netflix it was required that Silverlight be running. Netflix works perfectly on this Chromebook, so I'd have to believe a clone of it must be there that's working. I'm not sure if it's there.
Okay, so it uses some sort of variation of the Google Chrome browser.
Right. It is Google Chrome browser, and it's just like the browser you use in Windows or in Linux. It's a nice browser. Nice thing is that I use two add-ons in Chrome and Firefox. One's called LastPass, LASTPAST, where it keeps track of my passwords. And LastPass bought a company called Xmarks that keeps track of your bookmarks. So I was able to install both LastPass and Xmarks. So I've got the same bookmarks on my Chromebook that I have on my home computer, my major home computer. And so I've got the bookmarks are synced between the two computers. It's nice when I take it someplace, I know where things are bookmarked. And I don't think I've installed any other add-ons into the Chrome browser. The Google, there's a couple little Google movies you can see if you Google Chrome operating system, Chrome OS. You'll find a couple little short videos where they try to explain how apps are protected in Google Chrome. Every window seems to operate independently of the next window. And should you get into a bad situation where there's some kind of virus trying to infect your computer, it might crash that window or that tab, but all the other tabs will continue to work. So it will only be confined to that one tab or that one window that you have open. It doesn't get into the rest of the computer. It's stopped right there at that place. And that is the biggest safety feature of a Chromebook is that protection.
Okay. One person asked about using the split screen. In Windows you can run two screens. Can you do that in Chrome?
I have to tell you, I've never tried it, so I can't say for sure, John. David, I can't tell you for sure.
Okay.
I wouldn't think so, but I don't think you can open up two instances of Chrome. But I've not found any movies I can't play on it. I bring in I can do things with it, and although my Chromebook does not have a DVD player on it, I've got one of those portable USB things I can plug into it, and it plays movies fine. And I can put them on the TV, so I don't have to look at them on the small screen. So that works quite well too. The only other thing I do is I use a mouse with my Chromebook. That intuitive gesture trackpad, I've still got a learning curve to master it.
Okay. And if I understand correctly, you can't install any external apps on it. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct. To me, this computer, what we at our computer club, I heard the person before me, John, mentioned that he had members at his club that maybe joined just because they get the free repair once a year, you know, at the club. We have a lot of members at our club that really want the support of getting the free repair once a year. And we were trying to think, what would give our people, would a Chromebook more satisfy our population than real laptop computer? And I would say for 90% of our people, a Chromebook would do just about all the things that are needed. There are other things that people could do, but I would think that would certainly make their life easier, that they wouldn't have to worry about their computer breaking down. Or a lot of times people, what they bring their computers in for isn't necessarily for repair. They've moved things around and they can't find the things they need, or they put things in the trash barrel and threw it away that they really did need. And our fellows spend an hour or two with each person trying to gain back the things that were there once upon a time. And what the nice thing with a Chromebook, if something goes wrong, shut it off, close it up, and turn it back on, and it's back the same way as what it was when you started it. So you don't have to worry about making a mistake. I think this would be good for a person who wasn't a great computer user. And but I'll tell you, it certainly satisfied me. Coming from network administration of things, I can learn to make this thing do most of what I want it to do. And it's simple. I pack it up, I bring it along, I flop it open, and it connects either with VGA or with HDMI into a projector or television, and we're ready to go. It's a good device, and it only cost me $140. You know, most of our computers, we put more than that we put more dollars in memory than what we do of $140. So okay. I guess that's my thing. You can make a Chromebook a solid computer if you will make it work offline. And Google supplies most of those things you need. All you have to do is install them and spend an afternoon learning how to use them. And they really do work.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Stu, for a very informative presentation. Again, this presentation will be available online.